Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. I've had a couple of you reach out to me and ask me to kind of do a video where I upgrade some of my ESCs and stuff like that, or opinions, etc, etc. So I'm gonna do my best here to try to make a decent video out of this. So I have to excuse the lighting because we are remodeling our basement and basement apartment area that we turned in for our oldest daughter, that we turned into an apartment for our oldest daughter before she moved out. And now we're redesigning it again for basically like a guest house slash little RC area for me. But anyway, what I'm doing is I'm going to swap out this ESC that I've got in the Omni Terminator. If you've all been following the channel, you'll know that I have put this Gyro RC 120 amp ESC in here, and it's 2 to 4S. Let me get it unplugged and removed, and I'll show you real quick in the camera. Try to be as thorough as I can, show you guys all I can anyway. So bear with me just a minute. All right. These, I guess, tutorial videos, guys, I'm not the best at, so I'm not the best at any of them, but you know what I'm saying. I'm just an old man trying to help some people out. That's all I am. So anyway, guys, here we go. This is the ESC that was in there. Hopefully you all can see that. That is a Gyro RC 2 to 4S 120 amp ESC. And this is a company that I just started working with not long ago. They've sent me a ESC and a motor, a couple of ESCs actually, and a couple of motors to try. This is Rocket by Surpass Hobby. Now this is a 120 amp 2 to 6S ESC. So I guess you all know where we're going with that, right? So if you're all familiar with the Omni Terminator, then you know how good of a truck it is. Okay, I don't have the carbon fiber. This is my servo. Always remember, guys, 1 to turn, 2 to burn. Steering servo goes in channel 1. ESC goes in channel 2. These are the little cooling fans, extra. So, but this is the radio that comes in the Terminator. As you can clearly see, it is a Dumbo X6F. It's just got Rlaarlo's name on it. So what we're going to do, as you all know, bear with me just a second. The audio might get bad for a second. I don't have my microphone on, I'm sorry. My daughter is using my microphone right now. It's funny how we buy things to use, and then our children wind up using them, you know, more than we do. But that's fine. But anyway, guys, the last time you seen the video of the Terminator out, I told you the next time you seen it out, it's going to have a new paint job on it, new kind of a scheme. Just kind of a running joke, just to have fun. You know, I don't want to make anybody mad or offend anybody, so take it with a grain of salt. It's just fun. But it's in the transition now of being converted. And I told you guys also that we took it out this last time, the last video. We tried to make some runs with it, and the tires were just ballooning way too bad. I think 62 is the best we got. Here's a radio, the receiver we're going back with, guys. This is the, I can't even hold on to it, good grief. This is the Dumbo, what used to be the X6FG. Well, the new models, with my understanding, they have a little better range, and the gyro's a little better in them. They're now a P6FG, Paul 6, Frank, George. And we're going to install this in there because I have a radio. If you hadn't seen it, go check out that video where I took a Dumbo radio and installed a 2.4 gigahertz amplifier on it. And more than doubled my range, way more than doubled my range. And you've got to have that if you're going, you know, crazy speeds. And none of these, this or the ROG1, neither one has been crazy speeds, but we've been well over 130 with our AK917. And I know everybody's been patient waiting on those videos to drop, and I assure you they will. Just be patient, because I'm having my daughter help me edit them. I need those videos to do well, guys. I need them to get a lot of views and traction and help the channel. And I want them to be right, mainly for Rlaarlo. I want them to be good, you know, but also for all my subscribers. You know, I want them to like it. So that's where we're at. I promise you the videos of the 917 will be coming soon as we get everything edited. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and install this Dumbo, and with the gyro. To get back down in there, we'll have to tuck all our wires. Now, y'all probably wondering if I'm going, and I don't like the fact this is just like the Gyro RC. They both have 10 gauge wire on them, and they have a Dean's connector on them. That's the only thing I don't like about it, but for now, it's just going to have to work. I don't have time to be, actually I don't have any connectors to solder on anyway, and I don't have time, and I don't feel like soldering on any connectors. So that's where we're at with that. But this will enable us to go 6S. So I don't know how many videos on YouTube there are of the Omni Terminator on 6S or 8S. I doubt I will ever go 8S. I think the drivetrain and everything in it's strong enough to handle 6S pretty good. But, you know, 8S, guys, that's asking a lot. I mean, you're talking 26 volts, I think. What is it, 26.2 or something like that? Sorry, I don't have a calculator right in front of me, but that's a lot of volts. So, that's like 27 volts, right? I don't know. I ain't going to try to do the math in my head, guys. I'm too old for that. But, I mean, 6S, you know, still is 21 right at, oh, I think 6S is 22 volts. So, it's crazy. It's a lot of power, a lot of torque. But this will allow us to go 6S. And, like I said, we're not going to be going 6S right now, but I want to have it to the point to where when I'm ready to go 6S, I can go 6S, you know. I'm sorry if I'm not doing the way you want it done on video. I've got the camera sitting on a tripod right now. A lot of my stuff my daughter has, and I don't have it here, so I'm having to use what I got. So, but I have a feeling, guys, once we put these Armahoons on here, and I know for sure, without a doubt, once we put this thing 6S, that we're going to want more radio range. You don't want to lose connection, guys. You don't want to ever lose connection at all. I mean, that's dangerous regardless, but, you know, if you're going 20, 30 miles an hour and lose connection, a lot of times you know, be all right. It won't destroy the truck too much, and you don't got to risk running out in traffic or hitting another car or something like that. But, you know, you go blazing 70, 80, 90 miles an hour over, well over 100 and lose connection, there's bad things can happen, guys. And I can just about guarantee you, I don't care how straight and how steady your RC is, I can just about guarantee you that your RC is going to be destroyed if you lose connection with it at those speeds. But you definitely don't want to be going crazy speeds and lose connection. And I have already lost connection a couple of times with my ROG1. even though I kind of done the little, you know, free battery mod, good God, I can't even talk this evening, guys, antenna mod on it, where you just kind of expose the stock antenna outside the case. And it does help with range, I can assure you. Does it help like an amplifier? No, it does not, but it does help because the radio is not having to penetrate all of that plastic and everything else, guys, that it's having to penetrate when the antenna is buried inside of the transmitter. It definitely helps. Anytime you can get a cleaner, more straight, direct path from your radio to your receiver, it's going to help your reception and your transmit. So that's just, anybody that's been fooling with this stuff long enough knows that. Now, we don't have a whole lot of room here currently where I've got this thing sitting. So, but for now, I'm going to put this ESC right back where I had the other one. Same spot, right on top of the receiver box. Now, I had a couple of people comment and say that, you know, some of the radio waves and stuff out of the receiver box would interfere with the ESC. I've never personally had that problem. I'm not saying they're wrong, but I've never had that problem, and I've ran many of my ESCs just like this without any issues. But sure, I mean, if somebody has a better way, let me know. There's a couple places in here I could mount the ESC, but it's still not really level. I mean, I could mount it right here on this dual cross backbone bar for the Terminator, the support brace, but then it cuts into my battery tray because I have to mount it, the ESC, kind of in the center of this bar, and it takes up some of my battery tray. So I'm trying to save all the room I can for the battery tray, if that makes sense. So anyway, guys, there you go. I mean, it's took, what, 10 minutes so far? This is my ESC wire, guys. It's going into the receiver box. Now, you want to make sure that it's tied up. And all these wires, you want to make sure they're, you know, secure and up and out of the way, and they can't drop down in there in the center where your drive shaft is. Now, I've kind of got ahead of myself a little bit just trying to show you guys the video, because I got to take this back off. That's why I haven't secured it up real good yet. I got to remove the ESC again and bind this receiver to my Dumbo radio. So I kind of just wanted to show you guys how I mounted it real quick and all that stuff. But if you see, if I mount it right here, like I was telling you guys a minute ago, if I mount it right here, look, see, it takes up so much space in my battery compartment that it just doesn't work for me, guys. I'm sorry. This will give me a chance to tuck in some more of them wires anyway, guys. So you got a little button right here on the side of your Dumbos. A little bitty tiny button right there. And you notice this is that Rlaarlo X6F. It is a Dumbo. Same button there. So let me get a battery real quick, guys, and get my radio. And excuse the sniffles. Can't help it. This weather is driving me crazy with my sinuses. So here is, I'll go ahead and show you guys this in case you're not familiar with it. Maybe you are, maybe you're not. I don't know. Let me set it right here on top of the computer. That is my Dumbo radio that I added the 2.4 gigahertz amplifier on. That's an 8 dB gain dipole antenna. So the amp runs right through there. There's a video it shows on my channel, guys. It shows the whole installation of this. And right here is the connector. I don't mind the dings on it because all it's doing is powering this amp. That's where I mount my battery on the bottom here. I'm not going to turn the amp on right now. I don't need the amp on. So it works just fine with or without the amp, but it greatly increases the range with the amp on. But I'm going to go ahead and bind it to this receiver. Hopefully this video helps somebody. Like I said, I've had a couple of people ask me to do this, and I don't mind helping anybody, guys. Something else, guys, I'm going to go ahead and say. I've had a couple of people in the last couple of days that's left some pretty rude, nasty comments. And I gave them a chance to kind of retract it, and they wanted to keep on being a jerk, so I just blocked them. That stuff is not going on this channel. You know, I don't want to lose any subscribers, and I don't mean to make anybody mad. Don't take it this way. But I'll shut the channel down before I put up with it. I'm not going to tolerate that kind of stuff for my daughter to see it. Read it, hear it, whatever else. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen here, guys. I want my channel to be a good place where everybody can come and try to discuss RCs, or maybe hopefully learn something a little bit, or I can learn something from other guys. I've learned a lot from a bunch of people. You know, like Brian's RC stuff. I've learned a lot from that guy. He's phenomenal. So, and he's a father of a little girl, so he knows. He understands what I'm saying. You don't want your kids hearing that crap. And I'm just not going to put up with it, guys. It just ain't going to happen. So, trying to make sure I got something here that I can push this little... Yeah. Alright. And this one here, guys, like I said, it does have the gyro on too. So, I'll get it set. And I'll show you guys what it looks like without the gyro activated and with the gyro activated. All I'm doing now is trying to get the ESC bound, good God, the receiver bound to the radio, so I can tuck away all these wires and get this out of the way. So get that part handled. So anyway, guys, maybe that'll work. Get my receiver up here. There it is. That's what I'm trying to find, my power switch. That little fan has always made, it's like it's got a turbo drive to it, guys. That thing will kick in a minute, and it sounds like a daggone Boeing 767 jet kicking off. It's like the fan cycles on and off, and then it really kicks in a second. And it gets quiet. And I've talked to the guy there, and he has assured me that that's normal. So, I'm like, okay. Trying to get it in binding mode, guys. Alright, see how, hopefully you've seen how it was flashing. That once it quits flashing, it lets you know it's bound to the radio. It should. So as you can see now, this thing has got a freaking fast servo in it, guys. So that is bound to the radio now. So now, if you want to turn on your gyro, you take and push this thing 3 times. 2, 3, real fast. There you go. That'll let you know your gyro is activated. This is your gain knob right here. On my radio, it's channel 6. Yeah, this is right here. You can tell when you've got your gyro, what? See that? So you'll want it to counter steer, so hopefully that's picking up on the camera. I'm not touching the radio at all. You can see the gyro's on. One thing you'll notice too, guys, is if you've got your gain turned up too high on your gyro, watch. It'll start going crazy. Just look at that. Barely touching it. You'll get the gyro wobble. And it makes it almost impossible to drive. And then that's still too much. You want your gyro to be set just enough to where it counter steers to correct it. I'll leave mine about right there. Hopefully the radio's picking it up. About 9 o'clock. As you can see, you still need to get some pretty fast speeds, guys, and fine tune the gain on your gyro. Alright guys, I'm back. I went ahead and cut everything off. I know that fan is extremely loud on this thing, and you might have just heard that little psst. I just opened the top on an adult beverage. I will not put it on film, so don't worry. But occasionally I like to have one of those when I'm working on my trucks just to calm down and relax, because it's been one of those days. So now we know we have the well, see, I still call it X6F, the P6FG receiver bound to our radio. And I like these guys for the money. In my opinion, you can't buy dollar for dollar, bang for your buck. You can't buy a better radio than the Dumbo. And you got to have, now one other thing I got to mention, guys, is I've had some people message me and say, hey, I bought the receiver that has a gyro in it, but I can't get it to work on my radio. Or some of them will message me and say, hey, I got it working, but it's wobbling. I can't drive it. It just wobbles. And come to find out, they have an X4 radio, not an X6. You got to have a 6-channel Dumbo radio to use the gyro, guys. You got to have a way to turn your gain up and down and adjust the gyro. That gyro is, a lot of people that's in the drifting scene of RCs, that's originally what they were for. But a lot of people, including myself, being one of those, I'm one of those crazy guys that, you know, likes to try to go a whole lot faster than these things were ever designed to do. And I found out, just out of happenstance one time, how much the gyro saved me when I was going well over 130 miles an hour with my brother's car that he had at the time, which he don't have it anymore, but he used to have an X, what is that thing called by? Somebody leave a comment down in the section below there about the Traxxas, what is it, the X1, X01, whatever it is. It looks like a Corvette, I think is what it looks like. It's basically the Traxxas 100 mile per hour RTR. I think it's called the X01 or something like that. He had one, and that was really my first time using a gyro. And had it not been on there, I would have destroyed his freaking high dollar Traxxas car. So anyway, guys, back to this real quick. Like you see, I don't have nowhere near as much of the leftover power, the ESC wire. I'll be able to talk in a minute. The ESC wire going to channel 2. Remember, 1 to turn, 2 to burn. That's another thing you got to battle when you go installing these aftermarket ESCs like this. You wind up, you know, running into dilemmas like this, or where you can mount stuff. Let me try to get a little light on the subject. Hopefully you all can see in there. My radio and everything in the way. But what I'm going to probably wind up doing is taking mine with some 2-sided 3M tape, mounting it right here. I've never, ever, ever, ever claimed to be the best RC enthusiast, the best RC builder, the best RC channel, and I never will. But I do try to help people all I can. As long as you're polite and courteous, everybody's welcome here. I may not do things the fastest, okay, and I may not do things in exactly the same way as you do them, but we all can learn from one another one way or the other. So, you know, that's why I try to keep this channel clean and drama-free. I'm not going to deal with the crap like I had to block the last couple of days. Set up our motor rotation, make sure the ESC is hooked up. If you're not familiar with that, I'll kind of show you here in a few minutes on the video, but if you happen to hook yours up and you pull your trigger to go forward and the motor spins backwards, all you have to do is reverse 2 of these wires right here. I'll show you all that here in just a little bit when I finish up the video, but hopefully everybody can see. Still got the 2852 3100 kV motor, the little small, the baby Terminator compared to the carbon fiber. I am going to run this truck here on 6S with Armahoons on it before I take out this 28mm motor. Either this 28mm motor is going to drive me insane or make me explode, or I'm going to make it explode. I'm going to take this motor out when it picks its guts out, and I think it probably will on 6S, but 3100 kV is not, that's about your max where you want to go on 6S, in my opinion. A lot of people tend to run a little lower kV than that on 6S, especially on 8S or 12S, God knows on 12S, but, you know, some people like to be below 2500 kV on 6S, and then below 2100 kV on 8S, etc., etc., etc. So that's kind of a rule of thumb. We're going to find out. All right, guys, we're back. Now, some of this I probably will have to go through and edit out because some of it, the camera may be running and I may not even be talking. And then I might get long-winded and talk too much. But if I don't start the camera up immediately when I come back in here, I'll get halfway done with this thing and realize that I didn't have the camera on, and then I have to go back and do it all over again. So, anyway. Hopefully that was pretty helpful. As you can already see, that stuff's pretty sticky, and it's already been on there for a while, guys. But, let me grab this other stuff real quick, too, and I'll show you guys what else I use. Leave that on there. This stuff right here is something that I swear by. You can get it at Lowe's, Home Depot, Ace Hardware, just about any hardware stores. E6000, it is a clear, flexible, very strong adhesive. And I like it. Probably be better off, guys, just put a little bit of that right here, so I'll make sure I'm getting it where I need it. You don't got to put a lot. A little bit of this stuff goes a long ways, but you want to let it set up a minimum of 12 hours in, you know, pretty decent warm temperature before you're getting out using it. So what we're going to take and do, I'll grab the camera in just a minute, guys. I can't do that and put this glue on there and install the little switch and everything else. Let's put just a little bit on the side of the switch here. And this stuff just pulls off, guys, once you break the initial contact off of it, break it loose. Hold this stuff for, like I said, 15-20 seconds. It'll set up. You've seen how quick it bonded to that side over there. And it'll be there. It won't go anywhere. Now what I will do, I'll tell you guys this, once I get this thing set about where I want it, I'm not going to mess with this wire. You're probably all going to ask me about this wire right here and getting it tucked out of the way. I'll do that tomorrow after this stuff is set up and dried. And then once this stuff is set up and dried tomorrow, I'm not going to be making a run for this with this thing for the next couple of days. So I'll take and go, I'll sit here and point. I'll just show you guys. Try to be helpful if I can. Right through here where this little seam is, where the switch is on the front of the ESC, go right through there and run you a little thin bead of this E6000 right there. Let it set up. You'll be solid, guys. It won't come loose. You don't want to get under there or get out there on a speed run or go bashing with your truck or whatever, and you go to power on your RC and the stupid power switch comes off. Look how much room we got battery tray wise. Now I can turn that big tonnage of graphene up now. I couldn't do it before without it being extremely tight with that other ESC, because that other ESC turned sideways, the other way. So I've got all this room now here for just about any size battery I want to run. And I try to keep my channel family friendly first, but budget friendly second, you know. And I think I've already proven that you can go pretty daggum fast on a budget, okay? And not just try to sound conceited or rude or anything like that. I don't want anybody to take it that way. But if I wanted to go out and buy more expensive stuff, I could. But I don't see the point in it. Another guy, super great guy, Brian, at Brian's RC Stuff, he does things similar to the way I do in a lot of ways. And, you know, he's got his own brands he likes. He's a real big fan of ZTW, and those are some bad ESCs as well. And I mean bad as in really awesome, good. And I've sent them a couple of emails, but they haven't responded back really yet and let me know anything. And, you know, I mean, they're working with him, and that's great. And it kind of like it that way anyway, because there's some companies he's working with that I'm not working with, and vice versa, that I'm working with that he's not working with. And we can kind of help each other out, and we do. Brian and I probably talk, I don't talk, we text probably every day or close to it. Even if it's just a, hey, how you doing, or something like that. But it's generally got something to do with RCs, or asking a question, or, hey, I set this record, or I done this run, something in that nature. So, good guy, super glad I met him. And that is another channel you'll learn a lot of stuff from. And like I said, he's kind of the same way as I am. He kind of keeps his budget oriented too. Even though we both have some, you know, expensive name brand cars, he's kind of like me. You have more fun, you know, with the budget stuff than you do with the expensive stuff. There we go, guys. There's the bare bones of it, sort of what. So now really all we got to do is, sorry guys, I can't do all this and hold the camera and everything else. So, alright, we got a battery in there, so I'm going to try to hold on to this switch since I just stuck it down a while ago. Turn it on. That little fan is just crazy. Turn on the radio. It connected. We're already connected. Look at this. Look at the dang speed of that turbo, guys. This thing has got an excellent turbo in it. So now I'm just going to lightly pick up the truck, okay, and just pull on the throttle going forward, make sure that we're going right. Appear to be. Going slower in reverse. Let me double check going forward fast. Alright, we got the motor wires right. There is absolutely zero doubt that we have the motor wires right. I don't know if you guys can see that on the camera, how quick those tires swelled like they did. They ballooned like crazy. So, now we know we're right, guys. So, what I like to try to do, guys, is I like to take and get right here on my motor plugs where they connect. And I like to try to get one started right here, get all my motor leads and ESC leads kind of lined up with each other. These are supposed to fit the 3.5 or 4 millimeter bananas, but I have found on the 4 millimeters they're a little bit loose. So I always put one on each end, guys. Hopefully you can see that, I hope. I'm trying to get this thing tilted up enough to where you all can see. And I know it's not working out the best, but maybe this will help. Bear with me just a second. So hopefully you can see a little better there. Maybe. You can see the zip ties and all here. I hope. Or at least you get the idea anyway. So I've got a zip tie on this end of the connectors and on that end of the connectors. And once I get them secured pretty tight where I want them, I'll take and put one right down the center where they're all connected. To me, that just ensures a good solid connection. It's not going to pull loose. Right here, guys, on the Omni Terminator, you got a thing on this little chassis support bar where your factory wires were already zip tied. So I'm going to take and run one through here. Pull these wires down to the side, get them where I wanted, and then zip it down. You all can see that you got wires. These wires need to be able to flex some, guys, where you can get your body shell on. So I just take and push mine down like that. That's still going over that center bar. And then that's on that center support bar. It's not going anywhere, I assure you. Unless something just happens to be wrong with your zip ties. I know that's not the best view in the world, but hopefully you all can see that. It's stuck down right there real good to the factory connection. Then the little wire loom holder there. And then I took my wires, tucked them in real nice, and zip tied them to this real stout aluminum center support bar right there. And we're getting close to being done, guys. So I'm just a neat freak, guys. I like my stuff to be neat and tidy. And I don't have to worry about these wires touching or anything like that. Powered on. Like I said, that fan on that motor has always made that noise, and they told me they always do. So now I'm going to turn on the radio, and you'll see the radio power light come on right there. And it should bind pretty quick. It just bound. I heard the ESC do its little music. The little beeping sound. There it goes. Radio's working. Don't want to blind you guys. Watch, I'm going to pick it up and show you the gyro's working. See the gyro? The gyro's counter steering itself. Let me try to block that out, guys, so I don't blind y'all. I barely got the gain adjusted to about 9 o'clock. Hopefully you can see that. Now watch, I'm going to turn this gain up to 12 o'clock. Now watch these front wheels. See how much they move? If you're going down the road, that's going to be too much, especially if you're trying to do speed runs. Now, you got gyro, you got an ESC, and you got one bad to the bone Omni Terminator that can now do 6S, guys. I have to admit, guys, that's probably one of the quickest and smoothest ESC receiver setting up a gyro install that I've done in a long time. So maybe I need to start recording all of them. I don't know. I'll just have to see what you guys let me know in the comments if it's okay, or if I didn't do something right, or something that you guys wanted to see more of. You guys will have to let me know. But that's about it, guys. Rlaarlo Omni Terminator. We now have a 2 to 6S 120 amp ESC. Yes, I do have this ESC in 150 amp, but this truck doesn't weigh enough, I don't think, to need 150 amp. I think we're going to be fine there. And we got the Dumbo. I still call it an X6FG, guys. I'm sorry, I just can't get that P6FG in my brain. But the Dumbo receiver with the gyro, it's in there. Gyro is working. You all seen that. 2852, 3100 kV motor. I could have made that look a little better, but I don't think it looks too bad. Anyway, it just turned and went over a little bit, so there we go. That went down some. I know it'll clear now for sure. Like I said, the only thing I don't like about this ESC, and I told them that, and they assured me they're going to send me some more. It's got the XT60s and some with some XT90s on it, but that's for another video. So let me know what you think, guys, down in the comments. Did this video get a thumbs up, or wasn't good enough? I talked too much? I didn't do enough? I don't know. You guys let me know. This is really the first one of these a full video like this I've done on the channel. But also, if you're going to do this, guys, I would highly advise you, and I'm not trying to self-promote or anything, don't think that, but I would advise you to go watch the video with the amplifier mod to the Dumbo. That is it right here. I left a link to this amp and everything required to install this in that video down in the description. And I can tell you now that the paperwork and everything comes with this, or at least it come with this one with mine. It said 450 meters is what the X6 supposedly the range was on it. So, you know, 120 meters is 400 feet, guys. So, you know, figure that up. That's, I don't know. Somebody's quicker at math than I am, but 120 is 400 feet. So that's well over a quarter. That's about, I'd say that's over a quarter mile is what they're claiming. And I got that, but I lost connection once when I went to turn around. As long as the truck was kind of aiming towards me, where the back of it was towards me, where the antenna was coming out, I had reception. But as soon as I turned around and the front of the truck was coming back towards us, I lost reception. I can tell you now that one end of that road that I'm always speed running on, if you go to the other end of it, you can see the fresh pavement versus the old pavement where they meet. And if you run all the way down that one end where they're still building the industrial park at, it's 3,286 feet from the old pavement to the new pavement. And then it makes a hard 90 into like a cul-de-sac. And that's where they stopped for now. I went all the way down there. I ran my, trying to remember what truck I'd done that with. I can't remember exactly which RC it was. I do. It's my brother's Omni Terminator that we done. He's got the carbon fiber edition. We used his with the radio amp mod and checked it. He ran the truck, or I can't remember. Maybe I ran the truck, and the other one followed it with a drone. And we went over 3,280 feet and never lost a signal after doing this mod. Speak highly enough about it. That's why I said that everybody's got their picks. I had one guy get on there and leave a nasty comment that Dumbo RC was junk, and I should have just spent the time on the money on Radio Link. I got a Radio Link, guys. I let my daughter use it, and it got no better range. Now it does have the fancy little touch screen and all the adjustments, digital adjustments and all that. I get it. That's nice. Okay, I get it. But it didn't get any better range than my Dumbo. And now with this modification, this Dumbo gets more range than my radio link. Of course, now a lot of those guys that do speed runs, you know, shout out to VW Turbo Wolf. That guy's flying. He's got, go check out his channel, like, subscribe, tell him I sent you over there. He's got the Rlaarlo 917, 787, and several other speed run cars. He's 180 to 200 miles an hour, guys. And he runs a radio link, but he has this amp on there too, because they work. And somebody that's been 180 miles an hour, guys, with one of those, that's saying something. That guy's flying. I ain't gonna tell you guys how fast I've been yet, but I'll go ahead. I've been over 130 so far, and the videos, I got the videos to back it up. Like I said, they will be uploading soon. I just got to make sure they're right. I want them to be right for Rlaarlo, and I want my daughter to edit them and all that stuff. So I'm gonna get off here, guys, before it's gonna take forever to edit this thing. So I'll try to edit it down some, but hopefully that helped. That is a ESC swap. Receiver swap with gyro installed on your Rlaarlo Omni Terminator. Hopefully you found this beneficial and helpful. And I will do another video when I go to swap out the pinion. And I'll do another video when I go and swap out and put in a 36mm motor. But until now, we're going to be running this motor pretty much until it pukes. And once it explodes and pukes its guts out everywhere, that's when I'll put the 36mm motor in it. Guys, please consider giving this video a thumbs up if you liked it, found it beneficial, helpful anyway. I'd greatly appreciate it. It helps us small channels get out into the YouTube algorithm. Although I'm really pissed off at the algorithm right now. I just don't understand it at times, but it is what it is. Big shout out to Brian. He's not real happy with it either, but you know what I'm saying. So leave me a comment down below, guys. Let me know how you think I done on this video. And if you'd like to see more videos like this, let me know. I'd greatly appreciate it. Take care. God bless. I appreciate you watching. Catch you in the next one. Omni Terminator out.